All right. So that's like my third attempt at trying to record this video. So I guess the powers that be don't want me to record this video. Anyway, uh, let me turn this nonsense down in the back. Lomanchenko. Let's get to it once and for all on my end. This is coming from a different perspective. So I hope people that are out there listening to this can understand where I'm coming from. And if not, it is what it is. Lomanchenko exudes boxing in my eyes. The guy goes in there, he utilizes his jab, he throws his straight rights, he throws his uppercuts, he throws his crosses, his hooks. The guy sticks and moves, he fights inside, he fights outside. He moves around the ring. He turns his opponent. He doesn't wrap up much or tie up, whatever you want to call it. He goes in there and he entertains. He knocks people out. He causes guys to stop fighting. He does everything that you would like to see a fighter do in the ring. So he's receiving a lot of criticism. A lot of guys don't believe in his talent. A lot of boxing channels out there, or they are trying to tear him down. They don't want to see him succeed for whatever reason. Be it him being white, he's not black, he's not Hispanic, he's not a guy that's melanated. He's white, Russian, whatever you want to call it. But he has white skin. So maybe this is why he's receiving the criticism that he is receiving. Maybe this is why people don't want to see him propelled to the heights of boxing. Now, I get it. It's a lot of analysts out there that go overboard with their analysis. It's a lot of guys that want to do anything in their power, especially in the United States, with all of this racism that this country is founded on. They want nothing more than to elevate themselves higher than any other class on the planet, higher than any other nation on the planet. And whatever they can use to I guess feed that agenda, that's what they do. So I understand that. But I'm a guy that loves boxing. Race and all of that other stuff will always be a factor in life. It's always going to be talked about. It's always going to be revisited. It's always going to be brought up in many different facets of conversation. With that said, I'm moving past that. Lomanchenko exudes boxing, as I said in the beginning. I am a boxing fan, a true boxing fan. I've been watching boxing since the 80s. Sugar Ray Leonard was my guy. I grew up wanting to be Sugar Ray Leonard. I grew up wanting to fight like Sugar Ray Leonard. If I got into a fight in my neighborhood, I wanted to utilize Sugar Ray Leonard's moves. I wanted to punch like him. I wanted to be fast like him. I loved Sugar Ray Leonard. And then that graduated into later on Evander Holyfield. It graduated to Roy Jones Jr. And then it graduated to Floyd Mayweather Jr. But I can even go back to Sweet Pea Parnell Whitaker. I used to love Hector Macho Camacho, Oscar De La Hoya. It's so many guys in the sport of boxing that are non-black that I love, that I still hold dear inside of my mind and inside of my heart. So I just don't understand what's going on The guy goes in there and he does exactly what we want to see done, and he's criticized for it. Oh, well, it's only been this many fights. And I will attest to being that guy. I said when he was at about 5 to 7 fights, I'm like, this guy hasn't done enough. Why is everybody raving and going crazy about this guy? So fast forwarding and watching this guy grow, there was in every boxer, listen to me, every boxer has opposition on his record, or he should if he's going to be considered a great, okay? So this is the arguments that I always have with guys, or debates rather. Look at your greatest fighter of all time, and you look at his top 3. It's always going to be his top 3 that were opposition for him in his career. One of those top 3 to maybe top 5, but really top 3. One of those top 3 that he fought gave him his hardest test in boxing. So though, and if you look past that, if they don't have anybody in their top 10 that you can recognize or that you remember, that you don't have to go back and try to find some type of tape on him or film or whatever you want to call it. If you have to go back and do that, that right there within itself tells you that his level of competition wasn't that great. So they always are going to give you, oh, well, Ali was the greatest. Okay, why was Ali the greatest? Look at his top 3. It's always going to be the same guys that they list. George Foreman, they're going to say Frazier because of the phrase, down goes Frazier. And, those are his 2 greatest tests in his career. Then you can go with Sonny Liston. We can go on and on and on with Ali. But when you look at his top 10, past the 3, you go back and you look at the guys that was 10 and below. Who are these guys? Mike Tyson, he did this, he did that. Look at his top 3, and then go back to 10 and see who he fought. These guys weren't that great. You don't even know who these guys are. And even when he got knocked out for the first time, who did he get knocked out by? Buster Douglas. Who was he? So I'm looking at Lomanchenko, and they want to say his level of competition isn't that great. The bottom line is this. His mission was to come into boxing and immediately take on that division's champion, to fight a champ, a world champ, world-renowned, lineal champ. He gets in the ring and he dispatches the champ. He gets the belt and he defends and he moves forward and he takes on another champion and another champion. These are not just random champions. These are the top guys in the division. And he beats them. And he soundly beats them. And it's a problem. It can't be a problem if the man says, hey, I'm getting old, I'm up there in age now, and I have to make a big splash in boxing. I know that I could beat these champions that they say that are the best. I know I can take these guys down. Put me in the ring in my first pro fight against the champion. I don't care how you do it, when you do it, who you do it with. I want to knock out their champion, their best guy. And this is what he chooses to base his career on. I think it's a phenomenal gesture. I really do. Because you look at a guy like Floyd and you look at his resume. These are a lot of world champions that Floyd took down. And we gave him credit for it. We gave him credit for it. Why are we not willing to give Lomanchenko credit because he only has about 12 fights on his record? But 12 fights against top opposition. So I didn't want to give him credit until he beat the hell out of Rigondeaux. Rigondeaux was the guy that everybody said was going to give Lomanchenko problems. I said it, everybody said it. Even though I truly believed in my heart that Lomanchenko would beat him. I truly believed that Loma would, I believed. I'm like, deep down, I'm like, this guy's going to beat Rigondeaux. But I'm like, no, Rigondeaux is just so slick. The guy's just so good. He's this, he's that. And he got in there and he was put to a halt. He got stopped. And after that, I said, you know what? This is it. I'm just going to watch Lomanchenko do his thing. I'm going to watch in awe like everybody else and enjoy what I see on the screen. I want to watch this guy dispatch all of his competition. And the more hate he receives, the more I begin to become a huge fan of his. And it was the same way with Floyd Mayweather, because I hated him too. I hated Floyd all the way up until he fought Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya was my guy. And around that time, he was my guy because Roy Jones was pretty much on his downslope. And I didn't really care too much about the rest of the guys. I like Shane Mosley. I like Winky Wright. I like all of these other guys that was, Prince Nassim. All of the little guys, I watched them. I was even watching Pacquiao on his rise. But until these guys get in there and they take down somebody that is considered like the guy that they're not supposed to be, I kind of don't want to give them all of the credit that they receive until I see them do it and in the fashion that they do it in. And him taking down Linares has cemented in my life and in my mind, he has cemented his place in my heart as a guy that's going to be hard to beat. You're not going to be able to beat him because of his mindset. His mindset is he was a champion before he was in the ring. And he truly believed it, because who wants to get in the ring in their first pro bout and take on a guy that's renowned for being a lineal champ and knocking people the hell out? If he loses to this guy, his career is forever over. Nobody's going to listen to this guy or even want to see him in the boxing ring. So for him to do it takes a whole big set of balls. All I'm saying is take heed to what you're seeing and appreciate it if you are truly a boxing fan. I'm getting tired of hearing every time I turn on my YouTube and I go to a boxing channel, it's hate about this guy. Leave the guy alone and let's watch and see what he can do. I know what he can do. I'm sold on what he can do after he took down this guy. I'm sold on it. Like I said, it took Floyd Mayweather for me to give him credit. It took for him to knock the hell out of Diego Corrales for me to say, you know what, this guy is truly, he's the best. And I still didn't want to give him credit until all of the fights after that, until he got in the ring with De La Hoya. When he beat and took down my guy, I made a bet with my best friend. He said, man, if he beat the hell out of this dude, you're going to have to watch him and respect him for the rest of his career. I don't want to hear nothing else that come out of your mouth. And he beat the hell out of Oscar De La Hoya. It was a competitive fight in my eyes. I'm a De La Hoya fan, so I'm going to say De La Hoya gave him problems. But when you go back and you really look at that fight, De La Hoya got outboxed. He got beat to the punch. He got out-strategized. The foot movement was too much for him. The hand speed was too much for him. Floyd just really embarrassed De La Hoya. He made him look very desperate in the ring. And that's not how your champion is supposed to look against a guy that's up and coming, that's there to take your spotlight, and that's there to take away your championship status and take away your fan base. And that's what Floyd did to him. He took everything away from Oscar De La Hoya. And that's what Lomanchenko is doing right now to the best opposition that's out there. So everybody is now saying Mikey Garcia, Mikey Garcia. And I'm about to get ready to end this because it's too long. Mikey Garcia, Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia is not going to beat Lomanchenko. And the only way that he could beat Lomanchenko is his mindset has to be sound on continuing on in the sport of boxing, being one of the more dominant, perennial superstars in the sport of boxing that refuses to go down, refuses to lose, and chooses to propel the sport of boxing by being in absolute condition, absolute shape, and well concentrated in that ring. He's very poised. He can box. He can move. I like his timing. Mikey Garcia has the tools and a skill set to get in the ring and throw Lomanchenko off with his ability to time Lomanchenko coming in. We saw that with Linares, but he waited too long to try that. And after he did it, he didn't do it anymore because Lomanchenko brought the heat to him in so many different ways. So let's see what Mikey Garcia can do. I love Mikey Garcia. I'm a huge fan of Mikey Garcia because, again, he exudes boxing. You know, he's a boxer. I like that about him. But I just don't think that he has enough in the bank to be able to compete with Lomanchenko. Lomanchenko reminds me of Pacquiao and Prince Nassim Hamed. He reminds me, he's a mixture of those guys with his own little swag, you know, attached to that. You know, I can go on and on and on about his training and everything, but I don't want to make this video any longer than what it is. All I'm telling you guys to do, if you love the sport of boxing the way that I do, respect what you're seeing and stop hating on this guy. Let him climb the ranks of boxing and dominate. He's going to do it anyway, and all you're going to do is say, well, such and such can do it. Well, why didn't he do this? And it's going to be he's ducking and dodging and he's doing this and that. Now, if that does happen and that's what's happening with Lomanchenko in his corner, I'm going to be the first one to come out and say I'm very disappointed in this guy. You know, I'm pissed that he's taking this route. Same thing I've done with Canelo. Same thing that Keith Thurman. Same thing with guys that I've been watching them, and I'm very disappointed in these guys. You know, and I don't hesitate to say a guy is BSing. You know, when I see him BSing. And the moment that I see Lomanchenko doing it, same thing with Triple G. That's who I meant to say. Triple G is doing that now, and I'm very disappointed in him, man. You know, but I don't want to get on Triple G. We'll see what he's going to do later. But this is a Lomanchenko video and a much respect video for him. And also to tell the fans that love Lomanchenko, you guys were right, man, about this guy. You were right about this guy. Anyway, peace.